Greetings everyone, my name is Linz Lucas and I welcome you all to my channel. In our previous session, we were working on to our topic, When, Where and How, Part 1. And in that session, we studied what is history and we also worked on the history timeline. We also learned that for our topic, we will be only focusing on to the modern history. And we also learned that after 1 CE, there is ancient history, medieval history, and modern history. Among these three, we will be focusing only on to modern history. I want to remind you that for our this topic, we have to work on to 2 points, and they are India in the modern world and sources of the modern period. In our last session, we started with the first point, and that is India in the modern world. If you have not watched the part 1 of this topic, I would recommend you to click the link in the description and see that video first and then come back to this video. For today's session, we will be continuing with that point and then we will go for the point number 2. After 1707, with the end of the last Mughal emperor's empire, Aurangzeb came down the Mughal empire and then came up the new power like Marathas, Sikhs and Rohillas. We learned that the conflict of Sikh, Marathas and Rohillas invited different foreign powers to come up here and establish their own empire in India. The English and the French established East India Company and later on conflicted, and in this battle English won and confined the French in the Pondicherry, which is also called Puducherry. Now let's go ahead. Towards the end of the 19th century, the British changed its position from merely traders to the masters of the Indian subcontinent. They expanded their territorial positions and increased involvement of East India Company in tax collection, particularly the land revenue. The collection of tax, particularly land revenue, had a great effect on the farmers and the landlords, which often led to the revolts of the peasants. Ultimately, in 1857, there was a movement against the Britishers which was fueled by the discontentment. Later, in the mid-19th century, many associations revolted against the Britishers, which later took shape, and in 1885 came the Indian National Congress. The exploitive policies of the Britishers created a widespread resentment, causing the revolt of the 1857, which they downplayed and termed it as Sepoy Mutiny, while the Indian historians and the contemporary historians support that it was all because of the exploitive nature of the Britishers. Now let's go on to our second point, and that is sources of the modern period. These sources are the books, the inscriptions and the carvings that we find on our cultural remains. This point is divided into two separate points. Number one is primary sources and number two is secondary sources. The primary sources are the archaeological sources, the India Gate, Taj Mahal and the Parliament House. The next one is the indigenous record, which comes from the newspapers, pamphlets and diaries of the people who were under the British rule. The next is the secondary sources, which is derived from the work and the books of the historians based on the primary sources, like in the form of surveys, articles, reviews, and memoirs. To support the channel, like, share, subscribe, and do comment below your feedbacks. Till we meet again, happy learning everyone.